Good morning. It's Tuesday, April 14th. It's the third day of Passover week, the third day of Easter vacation. And I am unhappy to say that this could have been a disastrous day because the Jewish governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, and his family were awakened the other night by the sound of police banging on the door because his house had been set on fire. His mansion in Harrisburg set on fire. And I am sure, and while Shapiro did not make a big deal out of the fact that he's Jewish, when he spoke afterward, after the attack, he mentioned that he had just finished celebrating the first night of Passover before they all went to bed, and that he intended to celebrate the second night of Passover, even though he and his family had been viciously attacked. Now, I believe that he was attacked because he was the governor, but he was attacked because he was a Jewish governor. And nobody can convince me otherwise. And Shapiro said he was going to continue his Passover celebrations in spite of the fact that his residence had been attacked while he and his family were asleep inside. Now, a gentleman named Cody Balmer, who was 38 years old and lived in Harrisburg, was taken into custody into what Shapiro described as a targeted attack hours after he and his family had held a Seder dinner to celebrate the Jewish holiday of Passover at his home. His home, the state official residence for the governor. Now, they hadn't charged this person at the point at which I am ranting, but he could be charged with murder, attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, aggravated assault. Those are many of the things that the district attorney said at a news conference. So the villain, Cody Palmer, attacked the governor's property with homemade incendiary devices. He forcibly entered the residence and set it on fire. But as far as the police are concerned, as of that moment, and right now, as far as I know, they have no specific motive other than he's a Jewish governor who's celebrating Passover. Why? Why would anybody attempt to kill the governor of a state? Give me a reason. And the only reason I can think of is the rise of antisemitism in this country. So if this doesn't wake up the population of the country, I don't know what will. So after 24 hours, during a Sunday news conference, Shapiro pointed to the same room, burned, and part of the fire's crime scene. But he was determined to celebrate his Passover on Sunday night anyhow, and I'm sure he did it. And he said, nobody will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly. So Shapiro's not backing down. At 2 a.m. on Sunday, the governor and his family were luckily awakened by a state trooper who had been assigned to their security detail. And he was banging on the door, telling them they needed to leave immediately. And Shapiro, his wife, their children, their dogs, and any other family members staying at the residence were evacuated safely. And then a couple of hours later, they declared the fire as an act of arson. Now, the fire was put out, but it was noted that it caused a significant amount of damage. And it could have been worse because Shapiro and his family were asleep upstairs when the fire was blazing below. Now, the FBI Director Kash Patel offered the federal government support to Shapiro and his family. But in my mind, this is a sign of the rampant antisemitism that's running wild throughout our country. Nobody can convince me that the governor of Pennsylvania, who's a Jew and a practicing Jew, and was about to celebrate one of the pleasant holidays of the Jewish faith, was attacked for any other reason except that he was a Jew. And an important Jew. So I cannot allow anybody out there that listens to me to think that this was not a blatant act, a blatant, villainous act of antisemitism. Why else would anybody do what this Tony Palmer attempted to do to a rising star in the Democratic arena? A person who possibly could have run as a member of the presidential candidacy, but he refused to accept the nomination at that point. So this is more than trying to kill a governor and his family. It is anti-Semitism to the core, and we cannot allow that to go unreported, unnoticed, unmentioned. It's a blight on our country. Anti-Semitism on the rise. I leave you with those horrible thoughts. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.